This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, essentially this is going to be a lesson of don't let this be you. So I've got a John Deere S100. It could be worse obviously than what it is, but what it was doing for the customer was that it was just dying out. It just would not pick fuel up in the carburetor. Although the carburetor would seem full, it was having a fuel pickup issue. I've gone through kind of the process of seeing if carburetors were the issue, because this was a little bit of a deceptive thing to diagnose, because sometimes it would run, sometimes it wouldn't. Like it'd run, seemed like consistently for 10 or 15 minutes, and then sometimes it wouldn't. So he tried spark plug, which is always the go-to for most people. I did fuel pump, fuel filter. I could actively see the fuel pump pumping gas up and filling the filter. And I tried multiple different carburetors, and it all ended up being the same. I'm going to show you the issue. I've already got it partially disassembled. This thing's only 3 years old, but I'll kind of show you what I think happened to it, just to give you all an idea, so that this does not happen to you, and it's a very simple lesson. So currently I've got the original carburetor back on it. It ran fine after I figured out the problem and just kind of band-aided it just to see if it was the issue or not. So let me go back in here. I'm going to show you what it is, and then we're just going to fix it. This is probably the more expensive repair than just swapping a carb out or something along those lines. But like I said, it could always be much worse. So let's go ahead and get started on it. So I've already started to work on this. Again, this is an S100 John Deere, so it is the latest generation of John Deere box store mowers. 17.5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton on it. This one was made in 2021, so it's the first year of the S100. I have started already disassembling the rear fender because we have to take the gas tank out of this. Because what has happened, and I don't think I can show it to y'all on camera because there's not enough light down there, but if you could see down in there, let me see if I can show y'all. Can y'all see? Not really, unfortunately. But there's a bunch of, you can kind of see it right there if you look close enough. There's a bunch, or not even a bunch, but a decent amount of grass in the bottom of the tank. So what was happening was the tank was the fuel pump was able to pull gas up, but it was partially blocked down here on the pickup tube. Now, so it would still pump up enough gas, but not enough gas to keep the carburetor filled enough to keep it running for a long duration of time. So I know I've started the process already. This was a Torx that you take off for the that'd be for the height lever adjuster. This was a 15-inch bolt and nut. You can access the nut from underneath, and then just a couple of 10 millimeters to take the springs off. So now, and also this is not the original gas cap to this. So my thinking is, and I'm going to confirm with the customer because he's a great guy, just an honest mistake. Gas cap probably broke, if I were to guess. Probably ran it without a gas cap a time or two. Got enough grass back there to get into the tank, replace the gas cap, and probably ran it for a while until all that grass culminated in the pickup tube would not allow enough gas to get up in there. So what I'm going to do, hopefully by doing this, because I don't want to have to take the whole console and everything off, I can lift this rear fender up enough to where I can get it out of, get the tank itself out of the back of this machine. I've never had to pull one of these tanks on these newer John Deeres. I think they're the same as the E-Series, but still, I haven't had to do it. So let's see if I can get enough clearance back here now to do this without having to pull the whole fender off. And I might have to, let's see. I think I can. I gotta pull these lines out first. So I'm pulling the lines through the tank now. And now, see if I can pull this fender up enough. To get this tank out. Really close. Of course, it's like half full too, so. Alright. Oh boy. It's hard to pull this up while pulling the tank out, so. There we go. Alright, so that can be done, which is good. A little bit of blood, but that's going to happen sometimes. So, there it is. That can successfully be done without having to pull the front half of the fender off and pulling that whole console and everything off. Saves us a little bit of time here. So, now what we've got to do is essentially, I got to drain the tank out, but I've got to get all this junk out of here too. And with the way that this is, it's not going to drain all the gas out very easily. So I need to see, I don't know if I can replace this particular part here or pull it off. I don't want to break these nipples or anything, but I wonder if I can get like a tub or something and show y'all. There's just no real good way to get this off. I'm going to see how to do this, do a little bit of research, because what I really need to do is pull this off so that I can pull the what would it be, so that I can really dump the tank out and get all that grass out of it. So let me go ahead and take care of that, see how we can do that. So I took the tank off, y'all saw that. I was able to pull these tabs off as well for the suction pipe for the pickup, and then I found me some little fingers here actually, and was able to pull some of this grass out of there. So that's what because number one, it's got grass in it still, or it's got gas in it still. And look at all look at all this. This is not even what I've pulled out of it already by just pouring out the gas here. So you can see that there's a bunch of reflection in there, but if you can see down in there enough, like right there, where is it? Right there, and right there where all that grass buildup and stuff was. So the way that this tank is, it's not like I can take this off or this off in order to get all the gas and the grass out. So it's a little bit of a pain to try and get everything out here. So I'm just going to keep it looking in the sun here. I've gotten the big chunks that were causing the issue, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to keep on cruising here. And again, if you let this dry overnight or dry for a certain period of time, you could use a vacuum cleaner instead of these little fingers to get chunks of grass and stuff out of here. Now, it's not going to get the really, really small stuff, but that really, really small stuff will actually get picked up by the fuel filter. And it looks a good deal better in there than it did when I first started. So I'm going to get it out here in the light a little bit better so that I can see what I'm doing. Continue to pick out a little bit of grass, and then I'll rejoin y'all when I get the tank back in there. Again, I'm just going to put it back in there just like I took it out, and we'll see what we have to do after that. So I got the tank back in. I will give y'all a couple pointers in a second, but also take some compressed air and blow this out right here, because there was some junk inside it that was blocking the fuel flow. And so yeah, so a couple of pointers on putting this back in. Again, you have to lift the fender. It seemed like it was a little bit easier to get back in than take out, but so I slid it in. We are one pointer is the fuel line clips right here, and the vent tube. They clip right there. You want to make sure that that did not come unclipped whenever you pulled the tank out. And then the tank, there's a groove in this tank right here that this fuel line actually slides in through. So there's 4 clips on this right here. We're going to go ahead and put this back in. Again, I have basically cleaned the tank at this point, save for vacuuming it out. But we've got pretty much all the debris out of there just by doing what I needed to do. Again, we had them big grass clumps, and they just sucked everything up there. I ended up having issues with that. There's a little orange, so for the fuel gauge, there's a little orange button that you're going to see on top of a spring. Make sure that that button stays where it needs to, and that allows the fuel tank. It's a very simple fuel gauge. It's literally based on the weight of the gas, and it compresses a spring down and makes the gauge go up and down. It's silly, simple, but it works. And it's a lot better than trying to look through a dirty lens when it comes to finding gas. So I've got to pop that fuel line back on, clip it back on, and we'll go ahead and put everything back on here. But like I said, I suspect that what happened here is that he had an issue with the gas cap for some reason, ran it without the gas cap once or twice, then bought a gas cap, and now we've ended up with these issues. It sucked up a piece of junk in there and caused these issues that he had. So this now should be fixed. This gas cap is adequate for what it is. It covers and seals the tank, but like I said, because it had to have been run without a tank, or without a gas cap once or twice. So just to put everything back on, it's relatively straightforward. Since I didn't show you all how to take it off, I'm going to show you all how to put it back on. So we'll just push this down. We got a 10 millimeter here, and so you put that spring in, we'll get the other spring in. So that's good. Just hide that vent tube a little bit. That's clipped back in, so we're not going to have any leaks there. This is like a Torx here for your deck height adjustment. It's a kind of a larger torque. I think it's a T30. It's at least a T30. It might be a T35. Let me see. It's actually a T40. T40 Torx gets this off. And then this seat clips in to here. And if you leave it like that, it'll stay. And then you just put this 15 down here. The washer and the nut go underneath. It's a little tight, but you should be able to get it. And then just get your 15 and tighten it up, get a wrench. And now what I got to do is put gas back in it. I'll dump that old gas since it's got debris in it. Put some fresh gas in it. I probably could use like a little filter strainer or something, but there's no need to. I mean, it's a gallon of gas, if that. So there's no need to skimp on that, even though I skimp on a lot of other things. I don't want to have to see this machine back with all the tomfoolery that it did to me today. So everything's back on like it's supposed to back here. Throw some gas in it. I'll go ahead and do that while I'm back here. It's just funny that that tank just sits like that. Sits just like that. So, oh, my little gas gauge is off in the front, but I'll get that sorted out here. That would be why. So I got to get that gas gauge sorted out. It fell out on me, unfortunately, but we'll get that taken care of and put some gas in it. I think we'll be ready to rock after that. All right, guys. So I got that popped back into place, and it was running fine before. It was running fine after I kind of blew air through the tank earlier, but hopefully. Runs good. I'm going to keep the fuel, so I put a new fuel filter in it and a new fuel line on it for them, or fuel pump, just to make sure that nothing's got caught in any one of them. And I think we're straight now, hopefully. So got the gas gauge back into place and working. I do need to go cut some grass with this just to make sure everything's good on it, and hopefully after that we'll be all good to go with this machine. This is just, it's an easy repair, but again, it's just a lesson as to don't run your mower without a gas cap, or just make sure everything's clean around your gas cap for whenever you are cutting grass. Alright guys, that's everything on this John Deere S100 repair. Again, just a lesson learned here. Make sure that your gas cap is sealed. Don't ever run your machines without gas caps because it gets grass and stuff in there, and then next thing you know, you've got an issue with it not running. This one was not carburetor related. It was because there was enough junk in the gas tank that caused it to suck up some debris through the pickup tube, get it clogged in that little 90-degree elbow, but then also clog the actual pickup tube as well, because we're talking about big strands of grass here. So keep that in mind. Get a gas cap if you have a gas cap that has come off or have had issues with it or something along those lines. So hopefully this video will help you avoid having to have any issues. This mower only has 27 hours on it, so it's not that much at all, and it was a little bit puzzling to both of us as to why all of a sudden it just decided it wanted to stop running correctly. I did not think it was a carburetor issue, although it exhibited like it was a carburetor issue, like a fuel starvation, like a float was stuck or something along those lines, or a swollen up seat or something along those lines. I know these newer carburetors are a little bit different. They're not the Nickies, but they also look really, really cheap too, so not really sure about the longevity of those. But thanks again for watching this video. Hopefully you found it helpful, and just again, don't run your machines without gas caps. Make sure that your gas tank is covered, and that you have the proper gas cap to ventilate whatever you need to out, so that it doesn't, so that you don't lose your prime for your fuel as well, because it can't get any of that air into the gas tank to where it will vent. So, catch y'all in the next one. Thanks again for watching.